Powerful proofreading. If a paper is not proofread carefully before it is turned in, a paper that may have deserved an A may instead earn a D because of careless mistakes such as misspelled words, misplaced commas, either adding an S where one is not needed, or omitting one that is needed, or because of problems with subject-verb agreement. The most common proofreading errors found are spelling, including transposition or omission, grammar, punctuation, faulty subject-verb agreement, homophone confusion, spacing errors between words or letters in words, or omission of a word or words from sentences. A homophone is a word that sounds like another word but is spelled differently and means something different. Examples: using accept with an A instead of except with an E. Advice with an IC instead of advise with an IS. Effect instead of effect. Cite or cite with a CI or a SI, GHT instead of cite, SITE. Loose instead of lose. Principal, PAL instead of principal, PLE. Quiet with IET instead of quiet, ITE. Then, EN instead of than with an AN. There or there, EIR or ERE instead of there with apostrophe RE. To or to, double O or WO instead of TO, to. Weather with a WH instead of weather, WE. And whose, WHOSE instead of who is, who, apostrophe S. In order to proofread your paper effectively, consider proofreading your paper one time for each of these three different areas: organization, grammar, and mechanics. Consider asking yourself the following questions concerning how your paper is organized. Is there a definite beginning, middle, and end? Have I included a thesis statement, a main point, at the end of the introductory paragraph? Does the introductory paragraph serve as a guide to the rest of the paper? Has each paragraph been developed using examples, relevant details, and/or illustrations? Is the topic sentence in each paragraph clear? Does the concluding paragraph serve as an effective end to the paper? Have effect transitions been used in the paper? Are all supporting sentences related to the topic sentence of each paragraph? Do all the paragraphs make sense? Are all the sentences in the paragraphs arranged in a logical order? As a whole, does the paper sound right? Proofreading for grammar and mechanics. Does each sentence have a subject and a verb and make sense by themselves? Do all subjects and verbs agree in voice and number? Are active and passive verbs used correctly? Or singular subjects linked with singular verbs, and plural subjects with plural verbs? Remember, singular subjects do not end in S, but singular verbs do, and that plural subjects do end in S, but plural verbs do not. Are the verbs in each sentence in the same tense, present, past, future, etc.? Remember that in most cases, the first verb in the sentence establishes the tense of latter verbs. Are all pronoun references clear? Remember that each pronoun must agree in number and in gender with the noun it modifies, and it must be clear what noun it refers to. Sometimes you must add a word, or even rewrite a sentence so that the reference is clear. An example: I am a lab instructor in the biology department and am also taking a composition course. This has always been difficult for me. Can you tell from these sentences what is difficult? The reference is more clear if the sentence is written, I am a lab instructor in the biology department and am also taking composition, a course that has always been difficult for me. In this sentence, the reader can see that the composition course is what is difficult. In regard to each comma, what is the rule that is applied to its use? Are there any comma splices, fragments, or run-ons? Why was each semicolon used? Is each apostrophe where it needs to be? Use the underline belongs to underline test to check for possession. Are all words spelled correctly? Do all words requiring capitalization have capital letters? Does each sentence have end punctuation marks? 3 things to do to make sure you proofread thoroughly. Take your time. Proofread your paper at least 3 times. First for overall organization, the second time for grammar mistakes, and third for mechanics, such as typographical errors. It is best if you proofread out loud. Let someone else proofread your paper for these same things if possible. Other things to consider. Ignore content when reading for grammar and mechanical errors. Assume that there is at least one typographical error per page. Forget what you meant to say and concentrate on what is written. Set aside time to do nothing else but proofread. Answer these questions. If you have written an effective paper, your answer to all of these questions should be yes. Do I feel I have said something important to my reader? Am I sincerely committed to communicating with my reader and not just myself? Have I considered my reader's needs? Ask yourself, do my title and lead in attract my reader's attention and help set up my thesis? Does my thesis statement assert one clearly focused idea? Does my thesis and/or essay give the reader an indication of what main points the essay will cover? Do the body paragraphs contain the necessary main points in the essay's discussion, and are the main points expressed in clearly stated or implied sentences? Is each major point in my essay well developed with enough detailed supporting evidence? Does each body paragraph have unity and coherence? Are all paragraphs smoothly linked in a logical order? Is the conclusion a suitable ending for my paper? Are all sentences clear, concise, and coherent? Are all of my words accurate, necessary, and meaningful? Have I edited for mistakes in grammar, punctuation, spelling, and typing? I hope this presentation has been helpful in regard to focusing your attention on important areas of proofreading. Please fill out an academic enrichment summary so that we may document your participation. Send this to dwalker@wallace.edu.